Hello, everybody. Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, Twitter. Great to be back again on Light 360. What an awesome time we've been having with all these stories that we've been sharing. I don't know about you. I have been really inspired by all these stories that we've been sharing on Light 360, and I'm so excited about today again because we're going to hear another inspiring story. Welcome everyone as we're joining. Like I usually ask, please share this broadcast so that it can reach more people. Like the broadcast also so that it can reach more people. And I invite you all on whatever platform you are watching to join the conversation by putting in your comments. You can also ask your questions. We'll be able to interact with majority of the platforms. So really excited. One more time, the purpose of the Light 360 broadcast is to showcase the stories of people who, by walking in their divine purpose, they are shining as lights to showcase inspiring stories. And then as we do that, inspire other people to shine the light of Christ to bless the world. So that's what the Light 360 is about. So we just look for all these inspiring stories everywhere and bring it to you. So excited to have this conversation that we're going to be having today. So I have someone today that is going to be sharing a story, and I tell you guys are going to be blessed by a story. I put the lead there that, she went from, being diagnosed with a learning disability, and then she went through, a lot of stuff, but she was so persistent. I remember those days, when sometimes she would get some reports and all that, but she never gave up. She just kept on trusting God, pushing, and now she owns her own dental clinic right here in the city of Chicago called Golden Rule Dental Clinic. So really excited to have her on today. She's also a graduate of the Leading Lights training. So I'm very excited also to share about the impact of Leading Lights, on our life too. So without wasting any more time, I'm going to bring on our guest today in the person of Dr. Sade. Let's welcome Dr. Sade to Light 360.
Hey, Pastor Land, Dr. Land.
You are the one that you made me, you upgraded me. You made me put doctor in front of my stuff today. When I saw this is Dr. Sade, I was like, I better rise up to that level.
That's right.
I better rise up. It has to be a conversation of doctors today. So
right.
So really excited. So Dr. Sade, how are you? How are you doing today?
I'm doing well. Glad to be here with you on a beautiful Friday afternoon.
Yes. Yeah. How have you been handling Corona and all this chaos going on?
Well, it's been challenging, but I have been blessed. I have really been blessed. I've been well, healthy, family's healthy, my staff is healthy. So yeah. Business is going well, so I'm definitely blessed.
Awesome. So tell us, like I usually ask everybody that comes on, who is Dr. Sade?
Okay, well, first and foremost, Dr. Sade is a child of God, and I'm here, on this earth just to fulfill my purpose, serving God and serving others through the field of dentistry and, many other ways, but through, the profession of dentistry. And I have a big family. I am married. It'll be 4 years next month. And I am a practice owner, as you mentioned. Golden Rule Dental is my dental practice, and it is located on the west side of Chicago. So I'm just really, like I said, excited to be here and ready to, share my story with you all.
Awesome. Thank you. So you say you have a big family. You're talking about your extended family. You have many children, is that?
Oh, no, not yet. I was born from a big family. I have 9 siblings, some here, some in Nigeria. But yeah, I grew up in a pretty big household. In my household, education was modeled. Like my parents have degrees. All of my siblings that are older than me had degrees. So, education was really instilled in the household.
Awesome. Well, thanks for telling us about yourself. So let's get into the story. So we met many years ago, like almost probably maybe like 12, 13, or is it 14? I mean,
2006 maybe.
Yeah, that's about 14 years ago, right? Then you were in school and all that. Well, but tell us, let's go back a little bit, tell us about yourself, your journey in life,
Okay, so I guess I kind of got into it a little bit with saying the education thing. So like I mentioned, education was very heavily influenced and instilled in my family. So I went to Lane Tech High School, one of the biggest high schools in Chicago.
Very powerful school.
I love the school. I had a great experience at Lane Tech. I was, very involved in extracurricular activities, and I was a straight A student. Well, I shouldn't say straight A. I did pretty well. One of my friends recently was telling me how I was like really angry and upset one time when I got a B in one of my classes. So that just kind of shows you like how serious I was about, my education. And even kind of backtracking a little bit, I don't want to say I always knew that I wanted to go in the medical field, but maybe when I was younger, maybe I said I wanted to be a doctor or something like that. So I would just recall my uncle, just from that moment, he just always referred to me as Dr. Sade, like from a young age, Dr. Sade, Dr. Sade. And my mom too. And I feel like that was just a seed sown in me. And when people call you things, you can either choose to believe it or choose not to believe it. So I held on to that title. I was like, okay, Dr. Sade, this has a nice ring to it. So
the same thing happened to me. My mom started calling me Dr. Larry from when I was like 3 years old. So, and it became, it's fulfilled now.
Yes.
Yeah, go ahead.
So in high school, that is when I just really made that decision that I am going to, pursue a career in the medical field. So I'm thinking, oh yeah, I got good grades, in high school, like I'm going to be a doctor. This is going to be, it's going to be easy. Well, not easy, but I'm thinking, okay, no problem. So when I took my ACTs, I didn't do all that great. I did well enough to, get into a university. And I really think my extracurricular activities and my grades kind of showed the university that, hey, this, person is well-rounded. So I got into the University of Illinois in Champaign. My major was kinesiology and a minor in chemistry. But even though I have a minor in chemistry, people will think like, oh, wow, she must be really good at chemistry. But no, I was not good at chemistry. The reason why I decided to get a minor in it is because I had challenges in it. And when a challenge presents itself, I want to overcome that challenge, and I want to really, do my best, So I got a minor in chemistry, but I was getting very frustrated with some of my classes. When I would take exams, maybe I would like run out of time on my exams, or I wouldn't do as well as, I thought I should have, especially since I felt like I knew the material and I was studying and I was like, wow, what's going on? I'm not, doing well on my exams. So I spoke with the counselor and I was, expressing my frustration, and she was saying, you should get tested for a learning disability, and then that can allow you to get some more time on your test. So I said, okay. And I did it with a PhD student. It was like a one-day testing. And after I got the test done, they actually said I did not have a learning disability, that I just had some weaknesses in some areas. So I was like, oh, okay, well, I guess that just means I need to, study harder. I took the test and, whatever. So graduated from the University of Illinois, and I was introduced to a man named Dr. Reggie Jones, rest in peace. So Dr. Reggie Jones, he's part of the CHAMPS program. I'm not sure if it's still going on, but it's a Chicago area medical health program, and it helps minorities, get into different fields in medical fields. So I met with him and I was telling him about my scores because I was taking practice exams. And he was saying that, oh, well, maybe you should get a test for learning disability, because I was telling him how I was scoring and how I was running out of time. And I said, oh, Dr. Jones, been there, done that. I already took the exam. And they said that I just have, some weaknesses in some areas, but it's not like a deficiency. So Dr. Jones, he gave me a list of PhDs to go to. He said, well, the test that you took, that's not extensive testing. And he said that I need to go see some, other professionals, people who actually have their PhD, not a PhD student. So I went back to my alma mater in Champaign, and I took another test for learning disability. It's a very extensive test, 2-day testing, and the testing did show that I had a learning disability, attention deficit disorder, and then also a processing disability. And that doctor was able to give me some, test taking strategies and recommended that I get extended, time on my exams. So also about Dr. Jones, so I kept telling him about, I wanted to go to medical school, and he kept talking about dentistry. I was like, well, I'm not coming to you for dental. I'm coming to you because I, was thinking of being in the medical profession. But he just kept pushing dentistry. He was saying how it's good for women. You can have your own business. And, and I was thinking, hey, I'm open to it. Let me shadow different dentists. I shadow dentists, physical therapists, physicians, different professions. And when I was taking like my practice exams, I did the best in dentistry. And I could always just hear Dr. Jones' voice in my head, just, speaking of dentistry. So I was just led to it. I always say that I didn't choose dentistry. Dentistry chose me, just how the circumstances, just how God aligned it, really. And that's how I, ended up becoming a dentist.
Yeah, so let's something from story that I wanted us to highlight: the importance of a mentor, right? Dr. Jones played that role in your life. Can you speak more to that? How that has helped you in your journey? Yeah.
Yeah, so Dr. Jones, he was very encouraging to me. He spoke positivity into my life, even when I wasn't doing well on my exams. He said, Shada, you have a brilliant mind. And I said, no, I don't. What are you talking about? Especially if you're saying you think I have a learning disability. Why are you saying that I have a brilliant mind? So just him, speaking that positivity into me. And he saw something in me that I didn't see in myself. Even with the dental practice, he was just saying that, I see, so you're going to do, he didn't even really go into detail, but he said, you're going to do so much. And I just believed what he said, and I just continued to pursue it.
So what will you say to people who are watching about, maybe they also have a dream like that they may not even be aware of, right? Or they may be thinking of it in a particular way, but there's another dimension to it that they're supposed to go, but it took somebody who cared, somebody who saw something in you, to speak that, to just guide you on that line. What will you say to those who are watching, how they can have such a thing in their own lives too?
Yeah, I would say if you know in your heart that you're called to do something, despite the circumstances, just, keep pursuing it. For me, there was even a time where they wanted me to repeat a whole year of dental school. And I said, no, I'm not going to repeat a whole year of dental school, because I knew in my heart that that's not what was going to help me. I just needed to, of course, if I didn't do well on certain exams or classes, yes, of course, repeat, those classes, but a whole year, no. So fight for yourself, be an advocate for yourself. Don't believe negative things that people say about you, believe what God says about you, and, just meditate on positive things. Don't necessarily look at your circumstances, because the circumstances can change.
Okay. Thank you. So go ahead and continue your story.
Okay, let me see. Alrighty, so I talked to you all about, Dr. Jones, very influential in my life. So decided to go the dental route, and definitely do not regret, becoming a dentist. It's been an awesome experience. So graduating from, or I can talk a little bit about dental school, so even though, I was able to get double time on my exam, that didn't mean like all of my issues, just went away. I still had my challenges, and I still, had to work very hard. And like I mentioned, I had to advocate for myself when, they wanted me to repeat a whole year. And, by the grace of God, and I graduated dental school. So now I'm practicing. I've been practicing for 5 years now. At first, I was an associate dentist. I was working on the north side, and I was looking to purchase a practice on the north side. I'm from the north side, I'm familiar with the area. But I know why the reason didn't happen, but the deal didn't fall through. The practice owner, even though I worked for this person, she ended up selling her practice to somebody else. And at the time, I was very disappointed. I was like, oh, wow, I really wanted this to be my practice. But she said, well, you know what? I do know of a practice for sale on the west side of Chicago. So I went to look at the practice, and I thought, okay, practice is okay. But I did not end up getting the practice right away. So time went on, I was just, working at, different dental clinics. And then that west side practice just kept coming to mind, like just kind of in the past, like how dentistry kept coming to mind. This west side dental practice kept coming to mind. And I asked the practice owner, like, hey, is this practice still for sale? And she said yes. And kind of even, sorry if I'm going all over the place, but even backtracking a little bit, when
this is some juicy part of your story. Like, we're gonna get to that dental practice. I know there are still some, in the development, because for a big part of this, your dental school experience, I think from when you were at so from UI to Loyola, right? You went to Loyola, right?
Yes.
I remember your graduation from Loyola. To applying to dental school and all that. We were in it together. I remember those days. We wrote things together. We wrote essays, all kinds of stuff and all that. So a whole bunch of things were going on there that I still want you to talk about.
Okay.
Especially, because somebody is watching and they are facing now what you faced then. How you were able to navigate. Because I remember then that there were several times that you could have been discouraged, you could have stopped. There was a lot of setbacks, that came. But you will fight, you will go, you engage different things to just keep moving. And you never let go of that dream. So I feel that there's a whole bunch of principles, things that people can learn from that, who are going through exactly the same right now. So let's backtrack a little bit, and then we're going to get to the dental, the dental practice, in a moment. So going back, I want to ask, during those times when all those things were happening to you, what do you think were the main, principles or some lessons that you learned, from those difficult times, right? When it seems as if that dream would never come to pass. What are some lessons that you learned from them that some people that are watching can learn from?
Well, I believe the scripture that I meditate on the most is all things work together for my good. So even if it was, an exam that I didn't do well on, I'm like, okay, even though I didn't do well on this exam, how can I learn from this exam? How can I, how can I do better? How can I make the situation propel me to where it is that I know that I want, to be, where I know what I'm called to do. So, of course, there were times where, I was discouraged, and I was like, man, these people, they either want me. I don't know if they just don't want me to be in the school, or I'm not sure why because there was a situation where me and another student were in a similar situation, not doing good in certain exams. And they didn't tell this other student to repeat a whole year, but yet they were telling me to repeat a whole year. So I was like, wow, that was very, discouraging at the time. But I knew what my purpose was. I knew what the goal was. And I knew that, I was going to, just continue to study, continue to advocate for myself. And but like I said, the scripture, all things work together for my good. And I knew that God would not put more on me than what I can bear.
Yeah. Let's talk about Leading Lights training. Somewhere in that mix, you attended the Leading Lights. I remember the first time you came, I don't remember, maybe it was quarter 2 or 3 or something, when we were doing the analysis of your name. And I think we saw that the H was a healer or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and then the D, maybe it was dental.
So it's scholastic, healing, achieving, determined, encourager.
Wow.
So that's what my name stands for, Sade. Scholastic, healing, achieving, determined, encourager.
Wow, you remember it, man. Yeah. So what?
I have to remember it.
So what did that do? What? I mean, talk about the Leading Lights training. What was its impact? What role did Leading Lights play in this journey?
So Leading Lights was very influential. It allowed me to really understand my purpose. So some people might ask me like, oh, why are you passionate about, being a dentist? And it's not that I have a passion for teeth, per se. Like, of course, I, love helping people. I love
Does anybody have They say, what are you going to do with your life? Well,
right.
My passion is for people's teeth. I don't know maybe some people have that passion.
So Leading Lights really helped me to, to really hone into my purpose and my passion, and how I use dentistry as a gateway to reach out to people. So my sphere of influence is actually, there was 2. It was education. No, it was arts. No, not arts. I'm sorry. It was science, and then also family. But I feel more, I think family is like the lead one, and the science is kind of like a subset. So honestly, what I enjoy most about being a dentist is just, relating to my patients. I love the fact that they say, wow, I really feel like you're listening to me and you care about me. Like, people can be really close, to their dentist. We got to be like close in each other's face. Like literally and figuratively.
Let me share something with you. My dentists, they are always impressed with my teeth. I said, don't joke with an African teeth. That's what I usually say when I go there. So I've not been to the dentist so many times in my life, right? So I think I've only been to the dentist 3 times in my life.
Oh, wow.
Yes. Who goes to the dentist in Africa? Those who are watching in Africa can let us know, we don't go to the dentist. We just, we brush our teeth. We use chewing stick. We do everything. We eat strong bones, and then our teeth, is intact.
Oh, that's why I need to open up a practice in Nigeria. I was just talking to my brother about that.
So I went for the first time when I came to the US, and the guy was like, wow, so your dental history? And I said, well, I don't have any dental history. This is my first time. And he's like, wow, your teeth are great for someone who has never been to a dentist in his life. So some weeks ago, I went to see my dentist again, the 3rd time in my life. And so I was telling my wife and all my kids, Americans, I told them, I said, they had all gone and all that. So, some days before, I said, you see, when I go, you will see, don't joke with an African teeth, so.
Not all African teeth. You have blessed teeth. You have blessed African teeth, but not all African teeth are made equal.
I went there, I sat up there like a cool African man. So the dentist, everybody came. So they looked, they did X-ray, they did everything. They were like, wow. So they went to tell the doctor, the dentist himself came and they're like, wow, everything is perfect. Like, Nothing. Well, this and that. Do you floss? Yeah, I do floss once in a while. Do you, wow, this is so good. I repeated to them, I said, don't joke with an African teeth. So when I got home, well, just when I called my wife, I said, I told you, I called everybody. I said, listen, guys, don't joke with an African teeth. So, well, I just, to put that in. So, I'm sure you have had some experiences with all kinds of things,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely.
All right. So let's go ahead with your story. Let's go ahead.
Okay. But just going back to Leading Lights, not only did I, realize what my sphere of influence was, but it also just opened my eyes to other things that I feel passionate about and that I want to do. For instance, just the state of the Black community. Like, I feel like there's so much that needs to be done as far as, upliftment and development, as far as, homes that may be desolate. A lot of when I go on the way to work, or if I'm going, even when I work in Indiana and I'm driving, past the South Side and also on the West Side, just seeing abandoned buildings, prostitution, it breaks my heart. And through Leading Lights, I found that is another way that I want to help people, So these people, they might be, patients of mine, or, developing in the community. Just having the presence of a Black doctor in the community can, really encourage people. A lot of times people are surprised to see me as a doctor, like, oh, you're the doctor? Or, maybe some people have never even had
welcome to the club. Sometimes some people see me, they say, you're the pastor? Mm-hmm. Yep, I'm the pastor. Good.
Yeah, so Leading Lights, really, it opened my eyes not only to, my passion, that I can exhibit through dentistry, but just also how I can do that in the community as well.
Very good. So why did you choose the West Side for your location?
So the West Side, I really didn't choose it at first. Initially, I was thinking it was going to be on the North Side, but, God had
Kenya. They need you in Kenya to come.
In Kenya? Okay, yeah.
So...
but the West Side, I honestly, I wasn't really even all that familiar with the West Side. Like I said, I grew up on the North Side, and yeah, I was more familiar with the North Side. So that's where I was thinking my practice was going to be. But then when I was working at that practice, and I'm, looking for bank loans to buy the practice, and I'm thinking, since I'm a dentist, it should be pretty easy, to get a bank loan. But it wasn't that easy. And I had a lot of challenges. And of course, it's a business, so that the owner had to sell her practice, to someone else. So I was a little, bummed out about that. I was like, oh man, I really thought that this practice was for me. But she mentioned that there was a practice on the West Side for sale. So I went to the practice. I spoke to colleagues also about like the location and everything, people who are already business owners, just to see what they think. And I don't think one person said to buy the practice. They were like, oh, I don't know if you wanted to have a practice on the West Side, or, maybe, downtown is nice, or, maybe something else on the North Side can open up. So I took that into consideration. And then I also went to the practice, and I thought it was okay, but I was like, I don't think this is for me. So I decided not to, buy the practice initially, but it kept coming to my mind, maybe like, I think it was a year after that I reached out to the practice owner, and I asked her if the practice was for sale. I said, I know of someone else who's looking for a practice. Is that practice, still for sale? And she said, oh, it is. You can come. I think she really knew that I was the person that I was speaking. And she's like, oh yeah, come down. It's still for sale. And when I went there, everything was just, there was an ease to it. Like, I didn't have to go try to get some big bank loan. was just there was a grace and ease to it where I felt like, okay, this is the practice that I need to be at. And I stay not too far from the West Side. And, the longer that I've been, in this community and working there, I'm like, okay, this is where God wants me to be. The West Side needs a lot of love. There is some, of course, there's some great businesses and great families on the West Side, but the West Side needs a lot of love. And my role is, to bring that love to the West Side with my dental practice.
Awesome. So why you named the dental practice? Tell us the name and why did you choose that name?
Okay, Golden Rule Dental. So the name was birthed at Leading Lights because we were all thinking and helping each other, come up with a name of, the different businesses that we were going to implement. So once Golden Rule Dental, I guess I was just thinking, and we were all thinking of, what characteristics, what do I want the dental practice to embody? Uh-huh. So the golden rule is to treat others like you want yourself to be treated. Yeah. So that's what Golden Rule Dental is all about. Like, we treat our patients with respect, with kindness, with compassion. So I came up with the name in Leading Lights, actually.
Awesome. So if I come now to your dental practice, how will you treat me based on the Golden Rule?
Based on the Golden Rule.
What am I going to enjoy?
Well, you're going to enjoy smiling faces. You're going to enjoy a great attitude, great care from myself and from my staff. And then, of course, I've been, praying for my staff, praying for, God to bring the right people and also people who will embody the vision and the mission of Golden Rule Dental. So, we understand that sometimes dentists is not the people's number one place to visit. People don't necessarily look forward to
like it now with all the candies and all those stuff. They look forward to it. So I have a lot of candy. You're supposed to be helping their teeth, but you give them candy. Or they have these movies now, like they're watching Disney movies and all this stuff. So kids want to go to the dentist, and they park when they are leaving.
You said they get what?
They give them some kind of a pack with
like a toothbrush.
Yeah,
cookies.
No, not cookies. Toothbrush. Just some things in there too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and kids, it's really good to bring kids when they're younger, because they will hopefully not have that fear. A child as young as 6 months, as soon as they have that first tooth, they can come to the dentist, and that will help alleviate the fear, because a lot of people they have legit fear of coming to see me. So we just try to, bring a friendly face and, great work ethic to try to alleviate some of that fear. And I speak, positivity into my patients also, especially those who I know that are believers. I tell them, hey, you don't have the spirit of fear. You can do this. You can get this tooth taken out. Like, just relax. It's going to be okay. So it's good to encourage people and know that people feel comfortable in an environment where maybe otherwise they wouldn't.
Awesome. So what you're doing is entrepreneurship, right? I mean, did you see yourself as an entrepreneur, or do you see yourself as an entrepreneur? Like, how have you, like, in having a practice with staff and all that, how has that been for you? Is it a world that you're wondering, why am I here? Or just
I'm taking it one day at a time. I mean, I kind of knew that I wanted to own a business. Like, in dental school, I guess I figured it out in dental school because a lot of people were saying, are you going to own your own practice, or are you going to work for someone else? And it kind of seemed like the trend was ownership, to own something. So I figured, okay, I think that is a good route to go. And my husband has definitely been very, 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 very helpful in helping me run the practice. He's been our, IT person, lawyer, everything. So that has definitely been helpful. And just delegating, delegating to staff, because, hey, it takes a village, to run a practice. I can't do everything on my own. So, but yeah, it's a learning experience that, I take it one day at a time. I try not to get overwhelmed because it can be overwhelming to have a business, especially in the midst of a pandemic, so many rules and regulations, and we're all kind of, figuring this out, in the dental profession. So, but it's been good. I see myself, because I need to speak that positivity. So yeah, I do see myself as an entrepreneur, and, having, multiple dental practices, not only in the U.S., but overseas too.
Awesome.
By God's grace.
Yeah, tell us the things that you've learned in this foray into entrepreneurship. I know you've been promoting it. You were with a newspaper some weeks ago that you sent me, something on that. Just what are some steps you've been taking? Maybe somebody who wants to start something can learn from that, to make it known. You're starting something on the West Side. How are you letting people know? What are some steps you are taking to get the business running?
Well, initially, I was going to do a big launch business dedication. It was going to be on my birthday, April 4th, and then COVID.
I got it.
Yeah. I was very excited about it. We were going to launch the business and everything. But, due to COVID and the restrictions, that couldn't happen. But, I've been getting the name out there really by word of mouth. When you treat people good, they'll treat you good, and the law of reciprocity. So honestly, I haven't even done a whole lot of advertising. Right now, I'm kind of in the beginning stages of doing, advertising. But it's mainly been through word of mouth. But now that, I'm figuring things out, through, COVID, how I want to kind of get the business name out there. I reached out to the Austin Voice and let them know that we're in the community. It's a Black-owned dental practice. And they were like, oh, yeah, we would definitely want to, do a feature story on you and see how, you've been dealing with COVID, among other things. So that hasn't came out yet. We're actually going to take pictures tomorrow, and the story should be out sometime this month. But if someone is, trying to start something, I would say don't be scared, just do it, as far as advertising, like Instagram and Facebook, hey, my stuff isn't perfect as far as the advertising, but the most important thing is that you just do it, just start. And I've been getting calls from different people who could help me with, marketing and things like that. So, I've just been taking it one day at a time, and, not getting overwhelmed by it, and just knowing that everything's going to happen, in due time.
Since this, I'm always interested. I always talk about Leading Light. You told me that you talked about Leading Light with the Austin Voice. What did you tell them?
So I let them know. I had to make sure that, I gave the shout out to Leading Lights, because as I mentioned, that is how the name Golden Rule Dental came about. So I just let them know that, I went through an intensive was it 3-day training?
Emphasize intensive.
Yes, intensive 3-day training at the Life Development Center. And, the whole purpose is, to know your purpose through God and your purpose here on this earth. So I really wanted to, make that across to the people on the West Side, or, I'm sure the Austin Voice even reaches beyond the West Side. Definitely want, people to know that the resources is out there at the Life Development Center. I don't know if you all are doing online or maybe smaller classes or something like that, but I'm sure, it's still going on. So I just wanted, people to know that, hey, if you're not sure what your purpose is, or even if you are sure, but you are ready to, walk in your purpose, the Leading Lights program is an awesome program for that purpose.
Awesome. Thanks for spreading the word on that. So you feel you are standing in your purpose, right? Of course, you have a journey ahead of you, but you are standing in the field based on where you are right now, right?
Yes.
So one of the questions we used to ask in the Leading Lights training is, what happened if you had died yesterday? Remember that thing? If you had died yesterday, what would people say? I think right now people will say, wow, she followed that dream, she did all that. But just look ahead. Look ahead, 100 years from now or whatever. What do you see? Your life story, how will it be told based on what you are doing right now and working in your purpose, especially with this dental practice?
So 100 years from now, okay.
Dream in front of us,
Yeah. So I want people to know that, wow, Dr. Sade really wanted to, plant these dental offices in different areas, and especially in communities where there were not a lot of Black dentists represented. And not only in the US, but also in Nigeria. And then I just want people to know that, not only was she a dentist, but she really did try to, encourage people, especially the youth. Whenever I get youth that come into my office, I try to encourage them, especially with this time of COVID. And I ask them, so are you learning in school? Like, how is this whole online thing going? And a lot of the kids are saying they're not learning much, unfortunately. So I want my legacy to be, as my name, the stated, scholastic, healing, determined encourager. I want, to be able to influence the youth, or influence, it really actually doesn't even matter the age, just influence people to know that they can, pursue their dreams and, not to give up on their dreams. And I just want to help, help as much as I can to do my part to, encourage others, let them know that even if you are diagnosed with something, or if people, may discourage you or tell you you're not fit for something, no, that's not true. If you believe that this is what you're supposed to be doing and that God has destined you for this, then, you need to go for it. So that's, I don't know if I answered your question, but that's just, that's the legacy I want to leave behind. And of course, always give God the glory, because it's not because of me, I can't do this work on my own. It's just the dream that God has instilled in me that I want to just make sure that I'm fulfilling.
Awesome. What does the day of a dentist look like?
What does a day?
Your day look like? Your typical day as a dentist, at work, how does it go?
So I get in the morning, I just try to relax my mind, play some calming music, because like I said, I know some people tend to have some, anxiety when they come to the dental office. So I'm really trying to create just a warm atmosphere, greeting my patients with a smiling face. My practice is pretty busy. I'm actually booked out for treatment out into October. So it's busy, helping people with their tooth. I guess a lot of people have been eating a lot of candies and cookies during this stay-at-home order.
They don't have African teeth. That's
right. So I work, first patient's at 10 o'clock, last patient is at 4 o'clock. But I tend to be done treating patients around 6 o'clock. And for the most part, it's pretty busy. People are really coming and trying to get their oral health in better shape. So, I'm drilling, filling, taking teeth out, doing dentures, doing whitening. Well, I haven't done any whitening yet, but a lot of people kind of request or want to know about, whitenings. A lot of people have a lot of questions about, what is a root canal? People don't necessarily understand the treatment that they need, or they're just used to some doctor saying, oh, you need this, or I just need to take out your tooth. So I really do try to educate my patients on the procedures that they need and why I'm recommending it to them. And they tend to be pretty grateful for that. They're like, oh, wow, I never really was explained what a root canal is, or I never knew that I had periodontitis. So educating my patients is also incorporated on a daily basis.
Okay, so educate us then now. What is the importance of dental health? I mean, how important it is? Is it? What are the possibilities? What are the problems that can come from poor dental health? And what are the things we do that affect our dental health?
So a lot of people don't realize, but a cavity, like a dental cavity, is actually a disease. Like it's decay. There's bacteria that lives in the decay, and it's a part of your body. Your teeth are a part of your body, and it can travel. So a lot of times if someone has like a dental abscess or a toothache, they will come to the dentist because that pain is no joke. And it can affect the rest of your body, you know, and an abscess can travel. The mouth is very close to your brain. So it can be lethal. I don't want to say that it happens all the time. Like if you have a toothache, it's going to be lethal. But there are cases where someone has died from a tooth infection that has traveled. So it is extremely important, you know, to make sure you're coming to the dentist to make sure you don't have any dental decay. And not only dental decay, but also gum disease. So there's actually a link between gum disease, also called periodontitis, and heart disease. And a lot of people don't realize that, but let's say if you have a heart condition or if you need some type of kidney operation or something, the doctor will not do that operation unless you have a clearance from your dentist. And the reason being is because what lives in that bacteria, what lives in the plaque is bacteria. And if you have, you know, gum disease, then you have to go to your dentist to get professional cleaning. Now, some people say, well, I have a toothbrush or I have African teeth. Then I say, oh, I can clean my teeth myself. Like, no, you can't. Like, I mean, some people may be able to, but it's always best to go to your dentist because we can see what you can't see. So even if you don't have any pain or if you feel like, oh, my teeth are fine, you really should go to the dentist to get it checked out because often, like I said, you can't look back, you know, in your molars like a professional dentist can. And, you know, it's a part of your body. It affects your whole systemic health. It does not just stop at the mouth. You know, there's links with heart disease and like the abscess can travel. So very important to get it taken care of.
Awesome. So we should all be visiting the dentist in a year.
At least twice a year. Some people that have advanced periodontitis would have to come as frequently as every 3 months.
Okay. Mm-hmm. So how about your staff? How have you been handling your staff? How has that been going on, and how is your faith informing that?
How's my what?
Your faith, mm-hmm. You know, your belief in Christ and all that. How is that informing how you are dealing with your staff? And yeah.
So it's been going well. Of course, there's always challenges, you know, when there's staff, but overall it's been going well. You know, whenever I'm doing an interview, I definitely pray. You know, I want to make sure that I'm picking the right person for the position. And not only that, but also just, you know, not only because we're in a pandemic, but just overall, you know, praying for the health of my staff. I want to make sure that they're healthy. I want to also promote wealth with my staff. I want to be a good boss. I want my employees to have like a good full life, just how I want to have, you know, financial success. I want to be able to provide, you know, financial, you know, success for other people too in the community and, you know, the people that work for me. So, and I also try to think of, you know, the hashtag, like, you know, what would Jesus do? Like if there's some challenging situation, or maybe if staff did something that, you know, is upsetting, I really try to, you know that no one is perfect. And I try to live by the philosophy of everything is a learning experience. So I always tell my staff, like, even if you do something wrong, you know, just let me know. I'm not really the type of person like to yell at you or, you know, berate you or anything like that. And if you do something wrong, let me know and you can learn from it. Like everything is a learning experience. So I'm human, but I try, you know, to be as Christ-like as possible. Be, patient and understanding with staff. But you can't let people walk over you. Can't let people walk over you. They can't take kindness or kindness for weakness. So that's something that I'm definitely learning too.
Okay, so if you were to look back through your life up until now, I want you to teach. You were going to write a book. You were going to write a book about your life. Tell me 5 to 10 principles, 5 minimum, that you would say your life is built upon. That people that are watching us can learn from. What are those principles that your life, your story, everything, from where you're coming from to now, and then what you are working with right now towards the future? What are some of those principles that your life is built on?
Okay, trust. Trusting in God, and knowing that if there's chaos going on, or if there's other things and circumstances that are beyond my control, that hey, I'm not meant to control it. So I'm meant to walk by faith. So trusting God is number one. That's number one principle. I would also say the scripture that I mentioned, all things work together for my good. Let's see another. Love, walking in love, treating, other people how you would want to be treated. Determination, not to give up, and knowing that God would not put anything on me, more than I can bear. And let's see, another principle would be dance. Anyway, I'm glad that you mentioned that, because not everything is work. Work hard, play hard. I like to have a good time. I like to cook. I love to eat. I love to dance. So it's not all about work. We're in this.
You don't take candy. And
not a lot, just a little bit.
I hope you keep the advice that you give us.
I do. And then I brush after, and I floss. You got to brush for at least 2 minutes. Brushing, flossing.
Can't just do 1 minute.
Nope. Unless you want me to take all your money, then sure.
I was going to ask you about money, when you were done with the principle. But so you talked about, I think that you talked about trusting in God. You talked about walking in love. You talked about determination. You talked about put fun, right? Put fun into your life. You love to dance. You love to, what else? What do you cook?
Just, going out, hanging out with my husband, family, just, doing fun stuff. And things are really kind of limited now that, due to the pandemic. So, just thinking of, things you can do for a stress reliever, picnic, something like that. Because it can't always be, work. You have to, be able to let go too and be well-rounded.
Okay. So any other bedrock for your life in terms of principles that's coming to mind right now?
Not that I can think of right now. Okay. I'm sure when I get off, I'm be like, oh, I should have said that.
It's okay. Hello. So let's talk about money. Do dentists make money? The rumor is that you guys make a lot of money, so you must be loaded now, right?
I would say loaded. I wouldn't say that. But yeah, that was one of the selling points that Dr. Jones was presenting to me. So when I first met him, he wrote some different names of doctors on a chalkboard. He wrote prosthodontist, endodontist, oral facial maxilla surgeon, periodontist. And I was like, oh, I've never heard of these types of doctors before. He's like, they're dentists. And he wrote their salaries. And I was like, oh, okay.
Wow.
So it is a good profession. It is a good profession. For the most part, everyone, has teeth, and it is a needed profession. And even if you don't have teeth,
your children,
we can make it for you.
the government, they will make you take your kids to the dentist, you know.
Yes, you have to go to the dentist, you know, before you can get enrolled in school. And it really is important. So it is important and it is profitable, you know, even as a general dentist, it is a six-figure profession.
Wow. So how do I become a dentist?
Have to go to dental school.
Because that money is enticing, you know. Can I change my profession and become a dentist now?
It's never too late. It's never too late. But, you know, there has been some financial challenges in the industry due to COVID. You know, we could only see emergency patients. Well, it wasn't mandatory, but it was suggested that we only see emergency patients. That was from March through June. So I went from being open or working 4 or 5 days a week to 1 day a week. So of course that took a big financial hit on me and, you know, my colleagues across the board. So yes, it can be profitable, but hey, you never know, you know, what can happen as far as, you know, a pandemic and they can say, hey, you know, you can't work anymore. But I knew growing up that I wanted financial security. I knew financial security was important for me. My mother was a single mom for the most part, and I saw how hard that she worked. And I just knew that, yes, I'm going to work hard too, but I also want some financial security.
Very good. So I should call you now to become a dentist.
Why not?
All right. So you had some stuff, you know, let me know, or some other things that you like to share with people, you know, that are watching now about your story, your journey. Yeah.
Let's see. I think I said pretty much everything. I just just want to emphasize my heart for the West Side. And I guess it's not only the West Side, it's just Chicago and the Black community as a whole. And I just want people to know that, you know, even if you are labeled as something, or even if you might not even think that you can do it, you may not think highly of yourself, but you can. Like if I can do it, you can do it. And it's very true. Like I'm, you know, no more special than the next person. You know, it's just my belief in God, my determination that has brought me to where I am today. So I just really want to emphasize that, and I just hope that I can be an inspiration to people who may think that they can't, you know, go far in life. Like you can be a doctor, a dentist, lawyer, or whatever it is that you want to be, even if it's not an educational thing. Like just as long as you work hard and you keep at it, don't give up, you know, you can do it.
Did you go through some of the things that people talk about, like discrimination? You're a woman, you are Black, you know, you had a label on you and all that. Has that been?
Yeah, you know, I can't 100% prove it, but I do want to say yes. As I mentioned, I was in a similar situation as one of my classmates, and that person was not Black. And we were in similar situations, but for me, they said, you need to repeat a whole year of dental school. But for that other person, they was like, oh, just retake the test and, you know, you'll be fine. And I'm thinking like, wow, why did they tell, you know, this person that they just need to retake an exam, and they're telling me I need to repeat a whole year? So, I mean, it could have been because of my skin color. Maybe they didn't believe that I could pass my exam, or I don't know what it is that they thought, but I didn't really care what they thought. I knew, you know, my abilities and what I could do. So yeah, the systemic racism, it's subtle, you know, you don't always know. It's not always overt. Dr. Jones, he does believe that there's some racial inequalities that goes on in the universities. So yeah, I'm sure I have been affected by it.
Wow. Well, thank you for sharing your story. Shade, I'm just going to give you last words. you want to say to everybody watching right now and those who watch later? What do you want to say to them as we'll wrap up?
I just want to say thank you guys for watching. I hope that you were encouraged by my story. I don't know what anyone is going through. If you may have some dreams, maybe you might have some exams that you didn't do well on, or it might be, pursuing something, a business, maybe you can't get that bank loan, or, whatever it is that you need to catapult you to the next level. But there's always an opportunity. If you don't continue to pursue it, and if you're not, vigilant and sensitive to what God is telling you, you can miss it. So, just be open, even if it doesn't seem like, the plans that you thought. Like initially, I thought I was going to be a medical doctor, but I was, sensitive to God and the, different people who came into my life, and I, was led to the dental route. So, just be open. And if you do have some obstacles, just keep going, just keep pursuing it, be determined, and, you'll get there. It may not be easy, but as long as you, just keep pushing, meditate on God's word, say what God says about you, not necessarily, what other people have to say about you, especially if it's not positive things. And yeah, just keep pushing. You will, get that business. You will, pass that exam. You just have to keep pushing.
Okay. Thank you so much for sharing your story. I'm sure people that are watching, somebody, is taking some encouragement from it. Don't give up. So that's one of the things I saw about Shade, and why I really wanted her to come and share her story. She never gave up. Challenges came, different things were thrown at her, but she had it fixed that this is what, she wanted to do, and she went for it. She had to go through some routes, to get there, do this and do that, but she never let go of that vision that she had. And right now she's living in her dreams, and she's, apart from living in her dreams, she's using that to be a light for Christ in one of the place where it is needed, one of the places where it is mostly needed in the city of Chicago, the west side of Chicago. I believe that, what you are doing, when those kids come, they will see themselves in you. The little girls, they will say, wow, that's a dentist. She's black.
I've already recruited a couple of dentists. I already recruited them.
Yeah,
they said, I want to be a dentist. I was like, yes.
Yeah. Because they will see that picture, and that picture will inspire them to do the same too. And then also what you're doing, like the way, even the name of your practice, the golden rule, it's speaking about the principle of Christ. Christ says, whatever you want others to do to you, do the same to them. So that's a message on its own. And the way you are running it, the way you are treating the staff, the way you are, the focus and the vision that you have of being a blessing to your immediate community, and also to be a blessing to communities around the world. That's what working in purpose looks like. So you found your sphere. Your sphere is not to be a preacher like myself. Your sphere, is not to be an entertainer like myself. Your sphere is in that, in that area, is in that place of science, and that place of family, to be a blessing there. And you found it, and then you went for it, and you are doing it. So we just wanted to say thank you. Thank you for being a light, and we'll keep praying for you, and we'll look forward to more stories, more impact, more of things that will unfold in your life as you continue walking in this journey of purpose with him. So we're very proud of you. I am very proud of you.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. All right. So everybody, thank you for joining us. Please express your appreciation to Shade. If you're watching, I know we've been kicked off Instagram because we passed that 1 hour mark, but we are on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. So please express your thanks to our, if you want to, tell them, if people want to patronize you, those who are in Chicago, or maybe they want you to come and speak, they might call you to come.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
How do people get in touch with you?
You can email info@goldenruledental.com. And yeah, we're on the west side, but it's, not far from, anywhere in Chicago. So if you're in Chicago, come on down. We'll love to have you. We accept PPO insurance. We accept Medicaid and Medicare. And the address is 4909 West Division. And you can Google Golden Rule Dental and give us a call, and we'll be glad to have you.
Okay. All right. Take care of your everybody. She's a good doctor. She'll take it out for you and put it back. All right, everyone. We're going to be signing off for this week on Light 360. We're going to be back again next Tuesday. Next week, we're going to have a whole lineup of some people again that will be coming to share their story. So have a wonderful weekend, everybody. God bless you and keep shining your light. Bye.